Welcome to Master the Science of Business, WMSB Radio, where mastering the science of business is our business, because we know it's our time to shine, bringing to you live successful business owners from around the world, sharing best and worst business practices so that you and I can avoid the pitfalls that may lead to failure and benefit from the wisdom of their success. It's our time to shine, y'all. MasterTheScienceOfBusiness.com.
Welcome, 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 everyone, to MSB Radio, coming to you live today after a phenomenal weekend. Sister Teresa, are you there on the line with us as well? All right. Whoever is on the line, if you could temporarily mute your line until we bring you in, that will be wonderfully appreciated. We here at Master the Science of Business are dedicated to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we always go to Message to the Black Man for any and all things that we are pushing today, that we are placing on the forefront today. Today, or this month, we are focusing on law and justice. We are partnering with the Law and Justice Ministry as well as the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, which MSB is the lead in the southern region. So we are truly honored to be a part and partnering with the Criminal Justice, Law and Justice Ministry this month. This is our last Monday of the month dealing with law and justice, and we are honored to have a wonderful lineup with several attorneys whom we adore and we admire. Our first guest we will bring up, if Sister Barbara could come on the line and introduce our first guest, we will go right into our program. Thank you so much. Thank everyone. We thank you so much for your patience as we bring in our...
Sister Barbara, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. I hear you now. Very good.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Good. Okay. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first guest this evening. We have Sister Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, who is she's gifted in many areas. She's a dynamic attorney. She's a major player in the Nation of Islam legal team. She's a former prosecutor. She's a minister. As a matter of fact, she is the first minister that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan named over a mosque to be appointed as a minister over a mosque. Sister Ava currently serves as the national spokesperson for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and she has been featured in Essence magazine and recognized by Essence as one of the 30 most influential Black women in the year 2000. She's an author of several books, a lecturer, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. It gives me great pleasure to present Sister Ava Muhammad.
And Sister Barbara, we are bringing her in right now, so just hold one moment for us, please.
Okay, you got that new number, the 312 number? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And Dr. Ava, if you are on the line, we will be bringing you in just momentarily. Thank you so much for your patience. And as I bring in Dr. Ava Muhammad, I'd like to also introduce the partners of MSB Radio, myself, Sister Sandy Buford Muhammad, with Minding Your Business. And we have also to my right and to my left, Brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad, as well as Sister Shireen Muhammad of More Awareness Now. And Dr. Ava, if you are on the line, if you could simply press 5, we will get you into queue. Just simply by pressing 5, and we will bring you right on the line. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Ava. How are you? Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Dr. Ava, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We hear you loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us on the line. We are going to be mindful of your time because your show will be starting here momentarily. We are tremendously honored that you would accept our invitation to come on the MSB radio show this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, you are welcome, Sister Sandy, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you. It's been a long time, but I know you have just become a dynamic young woman. And of course,
wow.
Sister Shireen, all of you, and of course, my dear friend, Sister Barbara Muhammad. I could talk for hours about how close we are, and we came into the Nation of Islam together, literally together. We heard the minister, we accepted Islam, we went through orientation, got our X's and our names all at the same time. So this is just a great pleasure. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And we as well, thank you so much on behalf of Brother Jahi, myself, and Sister Shireen. We are tremendously honored. We're going to ask if Brother Jahi could go ahead. He has a few questions for you, and we'll get right on to the program. Thank you.
Is my mic on? Is my mic on?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, praise to Allah. Welcome, Dr. Ava, to MSB Radio. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We definitely thank you for being able to allot us this brief moment with you before you do your show this evening. And this month, I'm not sure if Sister Barbara was able to give you the entire layout, but MSB Radio is dedicated to collaborating the 9 ministries. So with us being the POC for the Ministry of Trade and Commerce in the Atlanta area and the southern region, we every month on our radio show, we dedicate it to one of the ministries. So this month of October has been dedicated to the Ministry of Law and Justice. And as you know, Sister Barbara is the POC for the Ministry of Law and Justice here in Atlanta and southern region. And she has done an outstanding job as our co-host this month of bringing on dynamic and brilliant legal minds. And it's just the capstone is that we were able to get you, one of our brightest, on the line. So again, we're honored to have you here. I just want to ask you a few questions dealing with law as it relates to business. As I said, our goal with MSB, which stands for Master the Science of Business Radio, and we are using the format that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad laid out, using pooling our resources, and stopping wanton criticism of everything that's black owned, but pooling our resources to start businesses. So in the field of law, number one, how long have you been an attorney? And number two, how long have you been in private practice as an attorney?
Well, I actually have, I'm pushing up on 40 years since my law degree, but I spent a few years as a prosecutor in the state of New York. I then worked in the Office of Child Support Enforcement, then the Inspector General's office in the Health and Hospital System in New York City. So all of these were law enforcement positions. And then I went into what I wanted to do, which was defense work. And for a number of years, not very many, Sister Barbara, Brother Larry Muhammad, and myself set up a small practice. And our goal was to, of course, protect and defend our people. I very quickly, after a couple of years in the nation, was called to Chicago by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and I've been here ever since. And while I
all praise is due to Allah.
Yes, sir. And while I do consultant work, and as Sister Barbara indicated, I'm part of the legal team, as is she.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not our general counsel, of course, is Student Minister Abdul Arif Muhammad, and of course our national secretary, our student national secretary, Brother Burve Muhammad, does a great deal of legal work, and we have attorneys throughout the nation. We have a whole cluster in Houston.
Right. We've had all of them on our show this month.
Yes. My work. But I became, of course, Minister Farrakhan appointed me into the ministry in 1985, and that's where I've been ever since, almost 31 years. Yes, that I've been in the ministry. And then, of course, in 1998, he appointed me to the Southern Region as the first woman over a mosque and region administratively in the Islamic world, and then made me his national spokesperson, which is what I do now.
Wonderful. Minister Ava, one of the angles that we have as well with Master Science of Business is we want to uplift entrepreneurship, especially among our youth, and especially the youth in the Nation of Islam. So a question I have dealing with that is, when did you know that you wanted to be an attorney? And for those youth that are listening, like we have Inspired Youth, that's coordinated by Sister Tawan Muhammad out of Indianapolis. We are sponsors of Inspired Youth, and a lot of them participate on the show, and they listen as well. So words of encouragement or words of guidance to those youth who have an interest in going into the field of law, what words do you have for them? And like I said, the previous question is, when did you know you wanted to become the super duper attorney that you eventually became?
Well, I actually never had a desire to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a doctor, a physician. And I was somewhat intimidated by the hard sciences that one has to study in medical school. But at the root of all that, I've always had a desire to help people. And I've always been drawn to the so-called underdog. I always feel bad for the team that loses the game. I think this is something I got from my mom and dad, just very empathetic. And so I come from a family of very strong people, and that's just been my love. So anything where I can help people, and I was always on the debate teams, et cetera, in high school and college, and I was a senior in college and a major in political science and history, and one of my fellow students said, "You really need to be a lawyer," okay? And I said, okay. And it settled well with me. And strangely enough, it was more that I felt I could do it, that I was capable of doing it. And so I applied to a number of law schools. I applied to Howard University. They never answered me. And
wow.
I applied to Georgetown University, and they offered me a scholarship.
Wow. Ouch.
And so, yeah. And so that's why I ended up going was to Georgetown, which is a very prestigious law school.
Absolutely. Right. In Washington, D.C. as well, almost across the street from Howard. So, man, did Howard miss out?
Well, now my daughter wants to go. My daughter, Sherelle, is interested in law. More from the perspective of forensic science, and she expressed a desire to go to Howard. So I guess it was for her to do. But then, of course, I took the New York bar and practiced in New York for a few years, as I indicated earlier. But
right.
My suggestion in this day and age, and of course, when I became a lawyer, I was not in the Nation of Islam. I was very conscious, but I was not in the nation. And of course, that was decades ago. We are now, I believe, in the fullness of time. And I think we need people to go into this field. And it is also a very satisfying profession if you are doing right by people.
Okay.
If you're not a shark, or you're not in this, if you're just really driven by money, I would say go into something where you're not harming people in your quest.
All right.
Go into retail business or something, but don't use law or medicine or these kinds of professions where people are coming to you in need.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that knowledge, people they can take advantage of folk in that need. I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. Now I know my co-host, Sister Shireen and/or Sister Sandy, has questions as well. I must say this: that we've been anxiously anticipating you as a guest ever since Sister Barbara reached out and said that she had talked to you. So I know we're very giddy about that. And again, I can't thank you enough for agreeing to come on with your busy schedule. And please give the greetings to Brother Darius from me as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This is Sister Sandy. I actually do have a question for Dr. Sister Ava. And that question would be, in addition to your practice of law, you are the author of several books, and I do believe I have all of my copies that are autographed, which I am tremendously grateful for. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm tremendously grateful. Before we run out of our time, because I am mindful of the hour, I'd like for us, before I ask my question, for you to leave any information that you would like to leave with us. If anyone's interested in reaching out to you, being a part of your radio program, you can share a little bit of that, if you don't mind, with us, and any contact information so as that we don't run out of time before you have an opportunity to do that, and then I'll follow up with my question.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I have. I'm on I'm in the third largest urban talk market, which is Chicago, on WVON every Sunday, 4 Central, 5 Eastern, for 1 hour, and I host an Elevated Places on WVON, and my co-host is Brother Ava Muhammad. But I also have the Elevated Places blog talk show every Thursday night, which is on blogtalkradio.com /Elevated Places. And then tonight, I just initiated the Women in Ministry Blog Talk radio show, which starts at 7 Eastern, 7 Central, 8. I got so much coming at me, I'm getting confused. 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So maybe at 7:30 Eastern time, when people have gotten a complete serving of this wonderful show, they can just switch over and come on to blogtalkradio.com/elevated places. And the phone number is 563-999-3065. And then I have a website where you can get all of this information I just gave, ministerava.com. If you go on there, then everything I just said is there.
All right,
so
fantastic. Yeah, we thank you for that. So we're definitely going to push everyone toward all of your radio. So you, in addition to being an attorney and a minister, you're also a media mogul now. You're our Oprah Winfrey, right?
Oh my God.
Yes, tremendously. So I'm going to just put my little question in as well. And Sister Shireen actually definitely want to be heard. I don't know, we're not hearing her right now, but if she needs to send me her question, I'll make sure that I ask that for her. Sister Dr. Ava, in your practice of law, what would you say has been the most difficult? When I say difficult, not necessarily from a physical standpoint, but more from an emotional standpoint. What has been the most difficult thing that you've had to overcome in your practice of law?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And, you know, being in the Nation of Islam and having the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the direction and guidance of Minister Louis Farrakhan, and having worked with the minister on his monumental course, Self-Improvement, the basis for community development, I became very disenchanted with the Caucasian system of jurisprudence, the way that it is administered in the United States. And I knew it even as a youngster and even going in, but I didn't realize how deeply rooted the racism is to the point of it being the nature of these people until I got the teachings. And so it becomes emotionally draining and frustrating when you struggle with what you know is a system rooted in white supremacy. And the quickest, biggest example is when Sister Barbara, Brother Arif, Brother Larry, and myself prosecuted the $4 billion lawsuit against the New York Post back in 1994 when they had started a series of defamatory articles accusing Minister Farrakhan of murdering Malcolm X and using and misusing an interview from Dr. Betty Shabazz to support that. And we were successful in going into court and pushing them back and shutting them down from issuing any more articles during that time because they were trying to derail the Million Man March. However, I felt then and now that the minister and the Nation of Islam should have been compensated for the libel and the slander against the minister. But that was not forthcoming because there is no justice, not really, for the black man and woman in this system. And so that's where the emotional stress comes from. You know, for a white person, they know that whatever they're doing, the outcome is not determined by the color of their skin. It's determined by the case itself. But we, you know, for the past almost near half a millennium, have had to cope with everything we say, do, think, feel, draws a reaction because of this root of white supremacy. And it's just something that you have to contend with because even though you know going in that either you're not going to win or your win is not going to be just, in that it will not balance out whatever wrong you're seeking to correct. It is of value in and of itself to demonstrate to our people that it's futile to keep trying to work within this system. So everything we can do to manifest that it's time to separate gives us great satisfaction.
Yes. Wow, Sister Ava. That answer, I have like about 15 different follow-ups, but I'm just going to marinate on that right now. And I know you are a movie buff, so I'm gonna ask you this one. What movie do you and your husband recommend that we take a look at now?
You know what? I'm going to go with Birth of a Nation. See that film along with the Student Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa Farrakhan, and his beautiful wife, Sister Karen. And we went at a 10 a.m. showing when it first came out. And that film, to me, is brilliant because it is so layered. It got more into the day-to-day psychological and emotional oppression of slavery. You know, it went beyond what we see with the chains and the back-breaking.
I think we dropped her off our listening audience. I don't know what happened, but you heard it first from our beloved Dr. Sister Ava Muhammad sharing with us The Birth of the Nation. I have seen that movie, and I would recommend that you see it as well. If she's able to call back in, we will continue to allow her to answer that specific question for us. However, we have lost her as of now, unfortunately, and inshallah, if she calls in, we will allow her to continue that if she has the time. I understand she does have another show that will be starting momentarily. So I am going to go right into our commercial right now, and we'll be right back with you. Welcome to Soul Wisdom International, where we specialize in building the human spirit. Can you imagine yourself completely free to be, think, and explore all the possibilities of being happy? What if I told you all of that is possible and even more? Would you be willing to no longer be triggered by those issues and have the experience of life you've wanted? If you've answered yes, then you may be ready to take the next step. Call for your complimentary 30-minute assessment today. 404-541-0889.
Are you looking for ways to make your work environment more productive? Would you like for your coworkers to get along better with each other? Do you want your employees to actually work as a cohesive team? Would you like to overcome your fear of public speaking? Contact Falah Worldwide Seminars, your company's personal training department. You can reach us at 404-438-3156 to schedule a 15-minute complimentary communication coaching assessment session. That's 404-438-3156. Falah Worldwide.
More awareness now. Have you ever thought, man, if I only knew then what I know now, things would be different. If I had more awareness now, I would have invested my time, my money, my energy or currency more wisely with more awareness now. The time is now to join More Awareness Now. Discover, channel, utilize passion to profit, from third eye mind mapping to purposefully position profits from passion proficiently. We're talking about producing power, concretizing vision with More Awareness Now. Current members are saying, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to man up with more awareness now. My vision is clearer. I'm motivated now with clear direction on my progress. And my progress is phenomenal with moreawarenessnow.com. Or call 404-913-0260. That's 404-913-0260. Phenomenal, 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 phenomenal.
Do you recognize these warnings? 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 Warnings?
That sounds like a Star Trek intruder alert. That sounds like a military Morse code alert. Oh yeah, that sounds like a tornado warning. Wow, never heard this one before. What kind of warning is this? Sounds kind of jazzy. That sounds kind of funky. What kind of warning is this?
It's a beatdown warning to negativity. So better get it.
The beat hits again.
You better stop me. I see the paper and pen. You better stop me. I'm in my hand again. Too late to stop me. With these fools rapping sloppy, do you really want to stop me?
Hit again.
You better stop me. I see the paper and pen. You better stop me. I'm in my hand again. Too late to stop me. With these fools rapping sloppy, do you really want to? If you want to issue a beatdown warning to negativity, Little Jimmy style, call 404-333-8871. Now holla back. Yeah!
Welcome back, MSB Radio listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to bring up our next guest. Sister Barbara, if you would bring up our next guest, we would greatly appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, good, good. At this time, I would like to introduce Sister Sadiyah Evangelista. She's an attorney in private practice from Houston, Texas. She's part of the NOI, Nation of Islam legal team. And she's been in private practice for a few years, and she's also the executive director and founder of a not-for-profit, Queendom Come, Inc. And this organization it was founded to empower females. The wife, she's a mother, and she's part of the legal team assisting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I present to you Sister Sadiyah Evangelista, dynamite attorney.
Wonderful. If you are on, beloved, please simply press 5 and we can bring you into queue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There we go. Welcome, beloved. Sister Sadia, are you on the line with us?
Yes, ma'am. I am absolutely on the line, sis. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. You are welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Queen.
Yes, ma'am. We are so proud to have you on the line. Sister Shireen, if you're on the line, you can take it from here, beloved.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am being heard. Adjustments have to be made. This has been an amazing evening. Praise is due to Allah. Thank you so much for coming on the line. We wanted to, have an opportunity to interview you after seeing the amazing work that you are doing with your company. You know, I saw one of the videos of you dressed like a queen on the stage of our children. I work with babies. And so, I'm like, I work with the adolescents. And I just thought, man, this is like out of my playbook. Exactly, the image that we want to give to our children, the best, the bright, So I wanted to get from you, what encouraged you as a lawyer to go out into the schools or into where our young people are and give them an image of royalty?
Absolutely, and that's a beautiful question you ask, and no, it's not me by myself. It's a group of MGT. It's 5 of us. Sister Wakiti Muhammad, Kiana Muhammad, Oshia Muhammad, Patricia Muhammad, and myself. And I don't know if you remember Minister Farrakhan, we had to Save Our Girls. And we went into the community, and it was such a phenomenal experience for all of us that we did not want to stop there. We wanted to keep on going into the community. And then as lawyers, Sister Kiana is a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. Sister Wakiti will be receiving her PhD in December. Sister Oshia, she's an educator. Sister Patricia, she is a human resource specialist. I mean, she's an operations manager. So we took our talents and our skills and we came together because there's unity, you know, there's power in unity. And so we wanted to continue with the mission and be smart and effective about it. So we started and established a nonprofit organization called Queendom Come. And we used the momentum. And we've been using the momentum, you know, of the minister and the time and what must be done in order to make things happen. And we've been moving fast and we've been moving hard, and we've just been, you know, just using the energy that we have and the love that we have for the mission to help these girls. And, you know, myself, I came from the inner city. I grew up in foster care. You know, I grew up in an environment where people told me that I wouldn't amount to anything, or there was so much going on. And what we intend to do is to show them something that's different than what they're used to, and to let them know that they can live their life on purpose, live it with value, and know that they come from a high royalty, high value, and that they are queens of the planet Earth.
Excellent, excellent. Praise be to Allah. I'm so happy that you shared that, you know, because there's so many of our young people who have gone through the system such as foster care for various reasons. And like you said, that, you know, they actually believe that they don't have much of a chance. And I have had the opportunity to work with students who defy the odds. And in fact, I'm thinking of one who graduated from Emory. She's a graduate of Emory now, pursuing her medical degree, that she ended up being a Gates Millennium Scholar. And she went through foster care, and she had maintained a 4.0 GPA, you know, despite what others, you know, contrary to what many or the statistics, you know, that, because it's not just people saying it, but it really is, you know, in terms of statistically, many of the children who go through the system don't reach those heights. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. You know, I wanted to ask, and I wanted to get this question answered by everyone, really, and that is, you know, because this is a business platform, and we're talking about the business of law. Yeah. So what can you share with us about the business? Because a lot of people will say, well, I want to be a lawyer, a doctor. You know, that's kind of like the top fields for a parent wanting their child to get into because they think they're going to make a whole lot of money or whatever. But, and of course, it is a prestigious field. But the question is, you know, in terms of actual business, the exchanging of currency, can you share with us, you know, what are some tips that you would give to a young lawyer who, or one aspiring to become a lawyer?
Yes,
to maximize it in business. Yes, ma'am.
So I do consider myself an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. Absolutely. I do work for myself. I've tried to work for other people and the people that I've worked for, because I also was in politics as well. I worked for President Clinton when I was very young, and then I was a chief of staff for a council member, immigration liaison for a congressperson. And then I decided to open up my own law practice and take the leap of faith. Because when my council member, he was term limited, I didn't want to work for nobody else, and I knew that I was unemployable. So, you know, as Sister Dr. Ava was saying, you know, she did not get into the business of law with an idea of trying to gain a lot of money or be a shark. I decided at 10 years old that I was going to be a lawyer, because being in the system, at 10, I had made my mind up, and I intentionally said I was going to advocate for those who could not advocate for themselves, being in the position I was in as a child, I said I didn't want to feel helpless. So as far as business, the first thing the mindset has to be right. You have to make your intentions known. You know, when we pray, the first thing we do is we always make our intentions known. So you have to think about, why is it that you want to make a lot of money? Or why is it that you want to go into that field? Is it because you want the luxuries of the world? Or is it because you want to actually serve? And then you may not know exactly what it is that you want to do or what type of law you want to do. So then you allow yourself the opportunity to try. I thought I was going to be a constitutional lawyer, and you couldn't tell me anything different. I knew I was going to be in politics, and I, wrote speeches and helped write legislative bills, and that was all good. But, one day I had an opportunity to practice criminal law and go in and help someone. And at that moment, I knew that I had a calling on that side. Law school, I'd won all kind of competitions for moot court, writing briefs, doing this. But it was helping those that, that needed mercy and grace. People say, how are you a lawyer and you can defend somebody that's guilty? I said, we all guilty of someone. It's through the grace of God that we got mercy and grace. And where I am now is not necessarily where I'm going to be 10 years from now. So I had to make a decision then what I was going to do, and I had to do it with my whole heart. Now I had to use my head, so I'm not a nonprofit as far as my business goes.
Right.
Now I run a nonprofit, but I got a family. I'm a mother of 7, okay? And so best to believe I need to get paid, and I need to be able to do it effectively, efficiently, and to be able to not just survive. I remember Sister Ava said something a long time ago about, when we're just surviving, we're not creative. And so you have to get out of the survival mentality, because when you are in a survival mentality or in the lack mode, then your faith is wavering because you don't believe that the source of everything is from Allah. And I make everything spiritual because it is. So we got to start where our heart is, where our faith is in any business that we do. That's number one. The second thing is, you got to study the business. What type of lawyer do you want to be? What is it going to require for you to be the best? Are you going to be certified? Are you going to put whatever is necessary, the education in order to develop the skills and the training that you have? And so you got to invest in your education. You got to invest in yourself. And believe me, clients know a good lawyer versus a Walmart type of lawyer, let me say. Because I get phone calls all the time.
Right.
95% of the clients that call, they're looking for the cheapest lawyer. But when they call me, that's not what they end up getting. Because I let them know up front that I fight for my clients and I listen to them. So when you're dealing with a business, and everything you do, it's all about customer service. It's all about customer service. I don't care what kind, if you mopping the floor, if you taking out the trash, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, your bedside manner is all about everything. And as a lawyer, how you treat your clients, the service and the quality of service that you give them says a whole lot about your name and your reputation. So I take that very seriously. You look on my cards and it says the godly warrior lawyer. So I take that very seriously because I know who backs me. And when I go in there and fight, and I promise you when I tell you this, sometimes I don't know how that fight is going to go. I can prepare, and it looks like, my client may get life, and, they end up getting a probation. They get that mercy and grace because of some type of technicality. And I receive it from, from the Lord, that He's guiding me. It used to be where I was very nervous, but now when I prepare to the best of my ability and I go into that courtroom, I leave it to Him, and I know that it's going to go the way that He would have it to go. So, it's all about the customer service. It's all about fighting for your client. But, on the financial side now, you can serve all day long, but if you are not wise about how you handle the finances of your business, then as a lawyer, you're going to have people owing you. You're going to end up upset at yourself because you hear about some other lawyer charging such an exorbitant amount and you only charge such a small amount because you didn't do the research, because you don't believe in yourself that you can even get that amount of money. So you have to study the finances of the lawyers. And what I suggest is those who decide that they want to be attorneys, always seek a mentor, try to intern with someone. You don't have to recreate the wheel, and that's what I did. I got with a lawyer who put me under his wings, and he taught me the science of how to practice criminal law, but also how to make money, be independent. And I promise you, as a mother of 7 children, not to be braggadocious, but, I really work part-time receiving a full-time salary, if that makes any sense. And it frees me up to nurse my children. It frees me up to put them in private school with the Muslims. It frees me up to run a nonprofit. It frees me up to service the people, and I have many jobs, but it allows me to serve them and do what I love. So I know I said a lot.
Excellent.
And I hope that helps.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You've answered my questions. You talked about the importance of self-esteem, in any business. And so, because I can imagine how some of us may think, okay, I'm a lawyer, I've arrived, or I've made it to whatever point, I got this degree, I have arrived. So you talked about being humble, getting a mentor to teach you the science. You talked about valuing yourself, having that esteem and knowing what you're worth and managing your finances. Sister, 7 children. Can you just tell us about that? How do you manage it? That was a question that I had in my mind, so I'm so happy that you brought this up. And on my drive home from work this evening, I was thinking about parents and how we are managing our children today in the day and time with both mother and father's working, grandma's still working. So before, the last generation, you had grandma at home. Now grandma's working. So how are we managing the children? And so when you talked about working part-time, just elaborate a little bit on the management of the children and making sure they still have what they need as you are also pursuing your professional career and helping others.
Yes, ma'am. So family is extremely important to me. And, I know some of the believers who are on this call listening, they know my backstory. I got married and I came with one. I took custody of my nephew, and my husband didn't have any children. Then I had a baby, like about a year into the marriage. And then, my baby was 9 months old. I'll never forget this. And my nieces, my nephew's sisters, I went to breakfast with them, and they were 9 and 10 at the time. And they had a stepsister, a half-sister. She was 3. And I went into the bathroom, found out that one of them had been sexually abused, and I asked the other one. The other one was sexually abused, and in the matter of an instant, my whole life, the trajectory of my life had changed. So I went from 2 to 5 in the matter of an instant. My husband didn't blink, didn't think twice about it. I ended up getting pregnant right thereafter, a couple of months later. And I fell in the role of just having this big family overnight. And, Allah just continued to provide for us. I'm a type A personality as well. I grew up in the military. Well, I had my stepfather was in the Marines, so, the structure in our family was more of a military structure. So coming to the Nation of Islam wasn't difficult for me to transition. So managing 7 children, everything's about schedule. Everything's about teaching down so that those down the line can help teach up, if that makes any sense. So like my 16 and 15-year-olds, they know how to cook, they know how to clean, they know how to take care of babies. My son, he's not going to be some trifling man that some sister is going to be upset and angry because all he do is lay around and do nothing. I truly believe you got to actually get in there and teach so that they help carry the load in the family. I get up early in the morning, get my spiritual meditation in, my teaching myself, my study time, my prayer, and I do what's called priming to get my mind right so that I have that momentum to pull me throughout the day. And then, I make sure that my husband is taken care of. And me and my husband, he works for NASA, and he's a financial analyst for NASA. So he's a money guy, and he also works on Brother Burby's team. So he has a different personality than I have. He's like the Disney dad, the real laid back, everything's going to be all right. Me, I'm the total opposite. This got to be in this place, But I've learned to, surrender and just let things go along the way. But, one thing that I learned that with the job that I have, I had to free myself up. Because if I said that I wanted to nurse my children to 2 years of age, if I wanted to be there for their field trips, I had to do something. And you don't have to believe that you can be stuck in the 9 to 5. You can be creative. I used to have an office. I was wasting money in the office. And what I did was I found a creative way to use technology to get clients. So I'd send out my cards to those who've been arrested. There was a list from the district clerk's office. So I knew exactly who needed a lawyer. So you're doing direct mail. Right. And then, I figured out how to be cost effective by the mailers that I use. And instead of big envelopes, I use postcards. And then postcards, the stamps are much cheaper. Then I'm able to capture a greater, a greater clientele. And then when they call me, I knew exactly what to say. I don't give them a business line. I give them my direct line because the people that I deal with, they want to talk to the lawyer directly. And then you got to listen to the people, And then as far as capturing the funds, you have to use every mode to capture those funds. And we're talking about the science of business. People don't want to come up to your office and make that payment. Nowadays, everybody wants things instantly. So what you do is you provide them the technology, the financial technology, to go ahead on and make that payment so it'll be into your account. But again, you got to be the shrewd business person because, in my business, they'll go to the next person. So you got to capture it immediately.
Right.
So, I'm all about handling my business, but at the same time freeing myself up so that I can be with my family. My family don't eat out all the time. It's it's a special occasion when we eat out. Before I got on this call, I'm in the kitchen. But I wanted to talk about one thing that Sister Ava said in her Real Love book. And she was referring to when she first got married, and she was ironing all her husband's shirts. And she came to the realization that she just take it to the cleaner. We got to free ourselves up, because we know that we have to be in a two-income household. And we got to be able to free ourselves up so that we can do more things. And so what I did is, because I was taking on so much, and I'm such a people pleaser and a server, you give me a task, I'm not gonna say no, and I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it to my ability. And so, I think it was in April, I was just praying to Allah, saying, I need help, Allah. I need a second self, someone who's a believer, someone who desires to help me in the things that I'm doing domestically and out in the community, because I do a lot in the community. And Allah bless me. He put someone in my path. I don't call her a nanny. I call her a house manager, and she believes like I believe.
Come on now.
She was a young sister.
Yes, ma'am.
We had an empty room that was just taking up space, and she was in transition. And so what I did was, I offered the sister the position. She is highly qualified, and she's eager.
Excellent.
And the children, I got help. Oh my God, it was like a godsend. It was a blessing. And I could see that my anxiety that I had, that the stress level, I was diminished, some. Now I'm a type A personality, so whatever I was freed up of, I put something right there. It's like
something else there. Oh, Allah.
God
Almighty.
So he expanded my breath. That's what he did. He expanded my breath. To be able to do more for the people, and I thank Allah for the opportunity. And now my mind, she's transitioning, and everything that I know, I'm teaching her. She's teaching me. I'm not just using her as some type of slave or a maid because I don't believe in that. We got to pull somebody else up, teach them what you know so that they can move on. You asked how do I manage, getting up early, seeking refuge in Allah, being organizing, planning, other people. It takes other people to make the dream work, the teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. And then you feed into other people. So I believe in being a hands-on type of mama. But you'll never, as much work as I do out in the community, you'll never know that I got 7 children out there.
This is Sister Sandy, beloved. I have just enjoyed you tremendously in sharing the wealth of information that you've experienced in life and how you've turned from where you've come from into a real opportunity of service. Thank you again so much for being on our show. Sister Shireen, I had a question. Yes, ma'am. I just had a question because I'm looking at your Queendom Com webpage, and you brought out something I wanted to know. Well, why do they call you the Godly Warrior Lawyer? And you've expounded upon that. There is something else in your bio that really is interesting to me, which speaks to my heart, and that is you're teaching our babies about metaphysics 101 and 102. Can you expound upon that? See, that I love that. Could you expound a little bit on that for us?
Yes. So I have a bachelor's degree in metaphysics, working on my PhD, and it's the science of God. Metaphysics is nothing but the science of God. It's mathematics, and it's about using the God powers that we have in order to have a successful life and to serve others. You know, if you broke and poor, that's not how what Allah wants for you. You know, He wants us to have money, luxury, and good homes and friendships in all walks of life. That's Islam. You know, and so when the metaphysics subject, you know, when I started reading the teachings and then reading this, you know, and it doesn't take the place of what we've been taught. It only bears witness to what we have been taught as being gods and being gods of the universe and being creators and owners, you know. And so if we can show, not just tell our children, but show our children and get it in their nervous system and let them see for themselves what they can produce if they have a certain mindset, then it's phenomenal. And I've been doing this teaching metaphysics class about 3 years at the Elevated Places here in Houston, Missouri City, where Dr. Wakiti Muhammad and Sister Melville Muhammad started this school inside a house, and it's just busting to the ball. And when we go in and we teach this science, and the foundation of it is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Muhammad, minister the Quran, the Bible, and showing them, you know, how they can put this into practice, and to see the amount of things that these children are able to produce on a constructive level.
Give us an example.
And then to listen to their language. Okay, so, you know, recently we are the champions in Houston, Texas, for the National Junior MGT team. I don't know if you've seen the video. You were there during Sadiyah's Day. But most of the team was in my class. And what they did, and they know that drilling is important and going over and over, but they did creative visualization techniques. I had them doing that. They had vision boards. You know, I had to have them write their intention statements. And that's just a group effort. A lot of them scholarships. Some of them have gone on. The scholarships they received, one of my students received a Steve Harvey scholarship award where, you know, only 10,000 applicants applied, but I believe it was only 300 who won all the competitions that they're a part of. You know, we use those techniques in order to excel. And the school is a small, unheard of school, but when they go out to compete and do things in life, they do it in such a grand scale that people ask, who is this? What is this? And so not only do they have the teachings, but they know how to use the teachings to benefit themselves and their nations.
Wow. Oh, wow. This is, I tell you, I definitely a sidebar. I definitely want to have a conversation with you about that, because as a part of MSV, we do something similar to that, but I would love to speak to you so that we can expound on some of that work that we do with Sister Shireen with our third eye mind mapping, to expound upon that for business owners and incorporate some of that you're doing. I would love to speak with you. Would you like to leave some of your contact information with us? I know Brother Jahi may have some questions too to ask you before we go to our commercial break. But would you like to share any contact information, how we can stay following you, social media, whatever you'd like to share?
So I do have a website. It's Sadiyah Evangelista, SADIYAHEVANGELISTA.com. My first, my last name.com. You can follow us myqueendom.org, myqueendom, QUEENDOM, COME.org. You can follow me on Twitter, Sister Sadia, Instagram, Sadiyah Evangelista, or on Facebook, Sister Sadia. And, you know, my line is open, 832-623-2323, 832-623-2323.
Wow. I tell you, thank you so much. Brother Jahi, do you have any questions before we go to commercial break?
Oh, well, probably not a question, but definitely a comment. Thank you, Sister Sadia, for taking time out of your schedule to come on the line. Please give Brother Kasala the greetings of peace and paradise from me.
Yes, sir, I will. And thank you for having me, Brother Shaheem. I enjoy my time with y'all.
And let him know that I will be calling him to be a guest in the month of December is our Blacks in Finance. So I will be calling on him to be a guest as well. And also, I was listening to the sisters that you named that are part of your Queendom Come organization. And you know there is an Atlanta connection there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You have Sister Patricia and Sister Oshia, right? That's that Atlanta connection. So even though y'all are 14 hours away from us, there's a whole lot of connection between Atlanta and Houston. And we are definitely proud of the work that you all are doing. I guess it's something in the water down there that makes the entire mosque want to be lawyers. Sister Barbara said you all have more lawyers per capita than any other city in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, great minds think alike, and we want to give our talents to our nation.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We appreciate that, too. Thank you.
Beautiful. Anything else, Sister Shirley, before we go to commercial break? All righty. We love you so much, beloved. Thank you so much for the work that you do on behalf of our nation, for the work that you do on behalf of the community, and what you have done. And I'm sure they tell you over and over again, your nieces and your nephew, the children that you have brought within your arms. On behalf of them, I say thank you. And them helping to build you to be the beautiful person that you are. I look forward one day to meeting you. And in the meantime, continue doing what you're doing, and may Allah continue to bless you and strengthen you and your family.
Thank you, sis, and I say the same for you and yours.
Beautiful. We are MSB Radio. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to go to commercial break, and we will be right back.
Do you recognize these warnings?
That sounds like a Star Trek intruder alert. That sounds like a military Morse code alert. Oh yeah, that sounds like a tornado warning. Wow, never heard this one before. What kind of warning is this? Sounds kind of jazzy. That sounds kind of funky. What kind of warning is this?
It's a beatdown warning to negativity. So little Jimmy.
The beat hits again.
You better stop me. I see the paper and pen. You better stop me. I'm in my head again. Too late to stop me. With these fools rapping slapping, do you really want to stop me?
Hitting again.
You better stop me. I see the paper and pen. You better stop me. I'm in my head again. Too late to stop me. With these fools rapping slapping,
Welcome to Soul Wisdom International, where we specialize in building the human spirit. Can you imagine yourself completely free to be, think, and explore all the possibilities of being happy? What if I told you all of that is possible and even more? Would you be willing to no longer be triggered by those issues and have the experience of life you've wanted? If you've answered yes, then you may be ready to take the next step. Call for your complimentary 30-minute assessment today. 404-541-0889.
Are you looking for ways to make your work environment more productive? Would you like for your coworkers to get along better with each other? Do you want your employees to actually work as a cohesive team? Would you like to overcome your fear of public speaking? Contact Falah Worldwide Seminars, your company's personal training department. You can reach us at 404-438-3156 to schedule a 15-minute complimentary communication coaching assessment session. That's 404-438-3156. Falah Worldwide.
More awareness now. Have you ever thought, man, if I only knew then what I know now, things would be different. If I had more awareness now, I would have invested my time, my money, my energy or currency more wisely with more awareness now. The time is now to join More Awareness Now. Discover, channel, utilize passion to profit from third eye mind mapping to purposefully position profits from passion proficiently. We're talking about producing power, concretizing vision with More Awareness Now. Current members are saying, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to man up with More Awareness Now. My vision is clearer. I'm motivated now with clear direction on my progress, and my progress is phenomenal with moreawarenessnow.com. Or call 404-913-0260. That's 404-913-0260. Phenomenal, 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 phenomenal.
For joining us here at MSB Radio. Thank you. We have had some phenomenal guests online with us today. We do still have our beloved sister. Yes. Our beloved sister Sadia still on the line with us. Brother Jahi, did you have any additional questions, or Sister Shireen for our beloved sister?
Yes, the question I have is, I was listening to Sister Sadia talk about incorporating a process in her law practice that's basically, well, from what I got out of it, freed her up to be able to do what she has been trained to do, love to do as a profession, but she doesn't have to put in the full-time, overtime hours to do it. The question I have is, that process that you developed, have you thought about packaging that process and making it available or offering it as a business tool to other law firms, especially the 1, 2, 3-man law firm or 3-person law firm? Because it sounds like that process is definitely very effective.
But she is no longer on the line. Am I being heard yet?
You are being heard.
Wonderful. OMG. I don't know what happened. Did she?
I believe we have her still on the line from an 832 number. She is still on the line.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I see her still on the line. Yes. She's here.
Okay.
Sister Sadia?
No,
okay, who's the 832 number?
She's off.
I think
who's
that
the
what
8-3?
you see is delayed. Sister Barbara is on the line.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, I apologize, Brother Jahi. She looked like she was on the line here. I apologize.
Yeah, she left, after you finished, and I was steady in the background saying I wanted to shout out Sister Patricia and Sister O'Shea from
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Man's Off for Life, BG. They doing it up there. So I'm saying all of this, and none of it is coming out. Okay.
Oh, yes,
ma'am. Like, what happened? Why am I muted? No. Yes.
Well, we have several calls on the line.
Questions.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So if any of you have a question that you would like to ask, you just press *5, and we will get you in queue so you can ask your question. In the meantime, while we're waiting on a question coming from our listening audience, Sister Barbara.
Yes.
Yes. What is your takeaway from this evening?
Oh, it was so exciting. I am so glad they agreed to come on the show. It was so wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, Sister Ava and I, we go way back. We used to live together, practice together. We came into the nation together. She was like my blood sister. And
right.
We have a lot, in common.
Yes, ma'am.
But when I think you asked the question about entrepreneurship as far as law is concerned. And I did not plan to go into private practice. What happened, and I was studying for the bar exam, and at the same time sending out applications to different companies. So I said, if I don't get a job, by the time I get the license, I'm just going to start practicing out of my house. That was my thought. And the last year of law school, I did an internship with a black law firm in Queens, and I saw how they ran the office. I watched them for a whole year, and I said, I could do this. I could do this. So I ended up, just starting out of my house once I got my license. And that didn't last too long because I had offers from other people to come and share space with them. But you don't have to wait, for great plans. You can start small, and before you know it, you'll be big. I didn't have a lot of money to open an office and pay rent and all that stuff. But you start where you are. And it just grew so fast.
We have you, yes, ma'am. Since we have you on the line, Sister Barbara, can you tell us what legal, from a legal perspective, as new business owners, many of us on the line, Master of Science of Business, caters a portion of our program to new business owners and assisting those who have a side business that, they have a regular job and they're working a business on the side. What are some of the legal pitfalls that we could avoid if we knew better?
Working a job and doing the business on the side?
To someone who's starting out in business, doesn't really know much about business, have you ran across any cases of business owners being liable, for example, for something that, had they only knew what to do, they wouldn't have fell into a legal trap, so to speak?
Well, if you're going to do business on the side, there's some steps you have to take. For instance, you have to set up an entity to run your business under, even if you're doing it, on the side. And if the best way to get protection and the cheapest way is to form an LLC, whatever type of business you're doing, because that will protect you from liability. And just register it and take a few legal steps. It's not all that expensive to make your business legal, and that'll save you a lot of headaches.
Excellent. Is that a service that you provide, Sister Barbara?
I help people set up their businesses. Mm-hmm. And depending on what type of business it is, you might need some type of insurance.
Okay.
Yeah. Some businesses require insurance.
Or you are sued.
Or what?
Or if you don't have insurance, then they're suing you.
Oh, yeah.
And not your insurance, right? I'm just thinking the purpose of insurance is so if you were to get sued.
But if they're suing you under the business that you run, you might be protected.
Okay. Mhm.
Because
that is just some of the things to think about.
Yeah, because if you have a corporation or an LLC, a limited liability company, those are like separate entities from you. And if you are the owner of those of the corporation and the LLC, they can't sue you. They have to sue the business, and you're protected as a person from liability. They have to sue the entity.
Yes,
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah,
because I have an LLC, and I think you said set up an entity, become registered, and right. So would you like to leave your contact information for anyone on the line who is interested in getting some advice on setting up a business? As you and Sister Ava have over 40 years of experience in the field of law, and not only over 40 years of experience, but successful experience. I was thinking about that last night. Where you all have been on the front line of the battlefield winning cases.
Yes. And, the minister is responsible for that, because when you work with him, you get a different outlook.
Okay.
And he guides you the whole time. You meet with him, you discuss things, how the case is going, what's happening, and he'll give you his opinion on, what he wants and what he's not going to do, and, and you push that. You push that, and it works.
Yes.
But,
Sister Shereen.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no, go right ahead, Sister Barbara. I wanted to follow up with a question with what you had just said, but go ahead and finish that.
Yeah, okay. So right now what I'm doing is I'm having like a reduced practice. I do give a lot of consultations, and I do certain things that doesn't tie me up in court.
Yes.
And let's see, my contact number is 678-519-8602. And I also do some things out of state. Like I have cases, sometimes I have to go to New York to handle them, closings, criminal stuff, divorces, if I'm into it. And,
right. Well, after 41 years, you pick and choose.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
But what they get is experience. What we get is experience.
Yes, and I even go to get involved in cases in some other states. I did a case for Brother Patrick. He was being sued from another state. And I took his case, and we were successful in getting it dismissed against him.
Wonderful.
Because once you're licensed in one state, sometimes you can apply to the court in the foreign state just for that case. And, you pay the fees. And if you show them your credentials, they'll allow you to do that specific case in the other state. Yeah.
Got it.
I'm also licensed in Washington, D.C., in the Supreme Court of the United States. And so I have a lot of paper. Oh, gosh. that allows me to pick and choose. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's funny. I did not start out wanting to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a fashion designer when I was in high school.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to be, a fashion designer.
Wow.
I used to draw outfits and make them.
Wow.
You want to talk about some wild outfits? skirts with points.
I want to see a photo. I want to see. How many of you on the line want to see a photo? I want to see a photo and her dressed up. It's Halloween today now.
Just to give you an example, I took a lace tablecloth and made a dress out of it. A see-through dress.
Wow.
That was before the
Yes, ma'am, clarify.
coordination.
That's Sister Sandy had a question.
Okay. What's the question, Sister Sandy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You mentioned about how the minister is very involved in his cases, and most times, you know, when we think about the minister, it's like, okay, he just asked y'all to handle this, and you go on. That was one of the things I believe I remember when we were building the mosque there in Chicago. The people that he has around him, he wants them to be qualified, credentialed, and have whatever licenses or what have you in place, so that when you move forward with him, he never have to be concerned about, you know, that you are qualified in their arena, in the arena that you're working in. That just, you know, I guess a lot of times you don't think about that aspect of it. A lot of us have skills, right? But we may not be credentialed in that area. Have you experienced anything like that with the minister?
Because the minister already knows our background, you know, before we start doing anything. And while you're doing it, you have meetings with him to go over stuff, keep him up to date, and he can give you his input. He likes everything done right and exact.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah.
And that's how you obtain that success.
That's right. You got it,
Sister Sheree. He trained us, all of us. He trained us.
Wow.
Yeah, he's particular. But
so you got a law degree, and then you got.
Then you have to learn how to use it.
And then you got to learn how to use it. Ava Muhammad as represented to us by the Honorable Minister Lord Farrakhan. And you got that degree. And that just made you, that put you over the top.
Yeah, you know what? When you go to law school, they teach you 30-something areas of law, and you have to, like, really know it in order to pass the bar exam. But a lot of the stuff you learn, it doesn't apply in, like, private practice. You have to find how to apply it. They don't teach you how to practice in law school. They just teach you the subject.
I thought that was only in my field. Wow.
No.
You know, that's one of the things I'm actually writing about and putting together a staff development outline. In, you know, as a person who goes through school, as, you know, to become a counselor, you know, then you're frustrated on the job. You know, one of the key things that I thought came out today had to deal with the fact that just because you have the paperwork doesn't guarantee you the job.
That's
and
right.
A lot of children, young or whomever, go to school to get the paper to get the job. When the paper does qualify you for the job, but it doesn't necessarily get you the job, and you may have to create a job for yourself. So being prepared for that, because that could be a whole nother mental head trip.
That's true.
And then, like you said, you're taught the theory. You're taught
the theory.
Right, you're taught the theory. But the application, you have to go and do, and trial and error teaches you. Yep. Or like Sister Sadia said, the
mentorship.
The mentorship, right. You know, and having that A-type personality, just being dogmatic about it, like I'm going to make this happen by hook, nook, or crook.
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. I had such a delightful time this evening.
Yes, this month, Sister Shireen.
Oh, absolutely.
This month, this is wrapping up our Law and Justice episode. I'm telling you, and Sister Barbara, we have to say we're gonna do something very special for you because you've hung in here throughout the entire month with us as our co-host, and we have been tremendous. It's like, can you come back next month too? I mean, we have loved you. We have a few callers. Yes. We have a few callers on the line.
60 seconds left.
Yes, and if there's any last-minute question that any of our listening audience or comment that you would like to share with us just within these last few seconds, please press *5 so we can get you in the queue. Otherwise, Sister Shireen, we are done with this month. I'm excited. It has been phenomenal. Please tune in next week, Monday. We're starting a new month. Next month,
we're dealing with real estate.
Yes, and everyone.
With real estate, and real estate is under the umbrella of agriculture. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been reiterating the words of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we must buy land. We must buy land. So that's all we're going to be talking about for the month of November is the acquisition of land. How to obtain it, how to manage it, what are some of the things you can do with it, all the plethora of opportunities that are in real estate. That's what we're going to be talking about for the month of November. Brother Jahi, you have anything to say over the outro?
Assalamu alaikum.
Love y'all. Sister Sandy say, love you. Tune in next week. Enjoy your week. Tune in. Have your questions, any questions you have, please send them to mtsobe@gmail.com. We love you all.
We certainly do. It's our time to shine, y'all. It is our time to shine. We are mastering the science of business, removing the excuses. No longer will we say they haven't taught us the science of business. We're not dependent on them for anything. We are going after it, getting it for ourselves, tapping into those who are actually doing it, making it possible, getting all the wisdom that they have to share. Can you see it? Do you see it? We'll see you or hear from you next week on WMSD Radio. We are out.